Good morning, Bande Matram. So, this morning we are going to discuss a beautiful topic that is on ordinary life and spiritual life. So, this is the topic of discussion for now. Many questions in many different through in different times. Of course, this question is asked upon again and again. What is the difference between really ordinary life and spiritual life? There is absolutely no more difference. So still then people want to know we are having a family, we are having that sansar and also we are living in the ordinary atmosphere. And the people who claim to be spiritual, they are living in the ashram, they are of course running the schools, they are teachers, they are working for the divine and they feel that that is spiritual life. So here also there is also categorically, theoretically we feel that this ashram life and all that is greater, and this ordinary life I think we feel that is quite inferior. So people who don't, this is spiritualism is neglected in many ways, in many words, of course, type of words we use to differentiate. But thing is that there is absolutely no more difference if this everything is decided and differentiated with respect to the consciousness. Wherever you see, wherever you stay, that does not matter. If there is a consciousness, larger spiritual consciousness is developed, it does not matter whether you are in the ashram or in the ordinary ignorant human field where you are staying really. So let us to this bright of course question, answered puzzle, that is almost staying for us. We must try to understand and of course try to analyze in the light of Sri Aurobindo's writing. That will be very much interesting, and of course we'll get some solution through this one. And Sri Aurobindo quotes beautifully. Of course, Sri Aurobindo quotes of three lives. Of course, we can add one more, so four life we can add. Number one is ordinary life. Normally, people are staying. That is actually, and second one is actually religious life, dharmic jivan. And the third, of course, it is spiritual life, adhyatma jivan. Instead, with the respect to this, sometimes in ordinary life we feel that morality, moral life, and sometimes of course we add the number four, that is ethical life. Everything is based on the ethics. So moreover, overall we find the three types of life in the ordinary scenario when we come across, when we count the style of living, standard of living, of course, well, the types of living, that is ordinary life, religious life and spiritual life. Everything we must discuss how Sri Aurobindo disintegrates and defines and of course differentiates. We'll see. In the very first line, Sri Aurobindo quotes spiritual life, adhyatma jivan, and religious life, dharma jivan, and ordinary life, of which the morality is the part. Morality is, plays a big part in that. Is quite different things, and must know which where desires, actually of which one desires, and out of these three lives, one is spiritual life, adhyatma jivan, second is dharma, religious life, and the third is ordinary life where morality takes a better and of course important role there. So we have, it is the choice between three. We have to, we should not confuse, actually we have to choose the who is really one we want. Step by step, Sri Aurobindo tries to quote to explain. Really, number one comes ordinary life. The ordinary life is where the average human consciousness is there. Average human being are placed. Most of the people are really, they prefer, they live and they actually carry out this ordinary human or staying in the ordinary human consciousness. Of course they are leading this ordinary life, mostly very much. It is a very large bunch of people. Their percentage, you can imagine, it is almost a big percentage. So here in the course here, they are actually average human consciousness, separated from its true self and from the divine. Their number is more. They are having a ordinary and consciousness, separated from the true self and from the divine, and led by the common mind, common habits of mind, life, and body, and they are under the laws of the ignorance. This is the thing. This is the ordinary scenario where really we find the ordinary life. And after coming after crossing this limit this bound, there comes the religious life, that is a movement of some ignorant human consciousness. They are little better than the ordinary mind. They have crossed the ordinary human consciousness. They are really staying little bit in the religious consciousness, little pretty better, and turning or trying to turn away from the earth towards the divine, but yet without knowledge and led by the dogmatic tenets and the rules of some sect or creed. They are actually little bit ahead of this ordinary consciousness. Still they are confined, they are bound by the dogmatic tenets and rules of the sect and creed, which claim to have found the way, clay out of the bonds of the earth consciousness into the beatific beyond. They claim, they feel from the ordinary human consciousness they are little bit better, and they have of course evolved a little bit. They are evolved, they have gone little bit, but actually to the beatific beyond. Then here in the second course, the religious life may be the first approach towards the spiritual, because ordinary life, the next one is of course religious to some extent. Ordinary people, ordinary consciousness, they bend towards the second one, religious, and the religious people, of course, they bend towards the initial layer of the spiritual life. But again, very often it is not the turning about the round of rites, ceremonies, and practices, and ideas and forms without any issue. They try to quit, they try to little approach the spiritual consciousness, but something is there that is actually unclear. They can't be cleared at all. These are known as rites, ceremonies, practices, and ideas and forms without any issue. They cling to them and very much cling to them. Then comes the spiritual life number three. Spiritual life, on the contrary, is totally different. The ordinary life and a little bit is better is actually to some extent inclination is towards religious life, but you can find a lot of contrariety in spiritual life. Proceeds directly a change of consciousness. Entirely, it is with the change of consciousness, a change from the ordinary consciousness, ignorant and separated from the true self and from God, where the really they ordinarily they don't know. Even if the religious people practitioners, they are confined to the rites, ceremonies, and of course this is sect and creed confines. But thing is that in spiritual life, they are actually there is a weakness for the God. There is of course an adherence to the God, turning towards the God divine. Like this it goes. A greater consciousness which finds one's true being. Someone tries to find its true being and comes first in direct and living contact and union with the divine. Here, there is a chance of finding the self, turning towards the divine, discovering the real self, and living within the direct and living contact with the divine, and try, of course, for the union of the divine. For the spiritual seeker, this change of consciousness is one thing he seeks and nothing that matters. For the spiritual seeker, we know people who are pursuing the spiritual life, divine is all for them. Divine seeking, divine, of course, attraction, and the divine unity to carry out the divine will. These are the things mostly it is for the seekers of the divine who are in the spiritual track. Again, here in the course of this morality, that is a big factor playing in the ordinary life. We know this has to be done, this has to be maintained like this. Morality is a part of the ordinary life. It is an attempt govern the outward conduct by material rules and to form the character by these rules and images of certain material ideas, mental ideas. So they are packed with chock full of ego. That is mostly found in the ordinary life. Ordinary life, not all, but very in ordinary life who are actually a little bit intellectual, little bit settled. They have got rising up. With them, morality is mostly found, and they are confined by the conduct to outward conduct only, with the some mental rules or form of the character that rules the image of certain mental ideas, mental rules and mental ideas that play the prominent role there. But actually, spiritual is totally different. It is beyond the mind. spiritual that is actually beyond the ordinary mind, I would say, because spiritually we will find higher mind, low mind, intuitive, and over mind. Then comes spiritual. For spiritual life is beyond the minds and enters into the deeper consciousness, not the ordinary consciousness. It comes rushes into the enters the deeper consciousness of the spirit and facts, and acts out on the truth of the spirit. Deeper consciousness in the spiritual life beyond the mind, rushing into the entering into the divine consciousness of the spirit, and of course acts out the truth of the spirit. So here the ethical life, another comes one ethical life, ordinary life, religious life, and spiritual life. Then we saw the morality, which plays a predominant role in the ordinary life. Here, later, we will go for the ethical life. Now, the question about the ethical life and the need to realize God, that is what. To realize the God, and depends on the meant by fulfillment of the object of life. What is the object of life? Not to hold a job, not to make some couple of big buildings, number of cars, some bank balance, beautiful family with wife and children. But actually, object of life only the divine who are pursuing this yogic path. If an entry into the spiritual consciousness is part of it, then mere morality will not give it to you. If that is the entry into the spiritual consciousness is the object of your life, then this morality that is coming under the ordinary band, ordinary system, it will not give it to you. Again, we'll see, we'll read Sri Aurobindo beautifully. Sri Aurobindo has defined a couple of things here. What really actually this spiritual life is meant. Sri Aurobindo tries to explain beyond the mental and moral being, there is a greater divine being that is spiritual and supramental. That's what the mind can surmise, mind can reach, mind can think of. It is the reachability of the mind, totally different. Beyond the mental and moral being, there is a greater divine being, and that is spiritual and supramental. Not only spiritual, that also steer in the course. Another step ahead, steer in the course, that is supramental. Again, spiritual life is a growth. You can't claim that it can be done within a week, within one time, and 1 minute, 1 hour, or something like this. 1 year, maybe it will take births together also, because it is a progressive. It is a growth, not the sudden and inexplicable miracle. Nothing here the miracles happen. It is a typical procedure that it has got its rules and regulations. It has got this procedure. Again, what yoga searches after, not the truth of thought alone. What yoga searches after is not the truth of thought alone, but the truth of the or mind of the truth of mind alone. Truth of thought alone or truth of mind alone, but the dynamic truth, nothing staticity, dynamic truth of the living and the revealing spiritual experience. Without spiritual experience, nothing supramental can be achieved. So, to in order to be someone must be have the spiritual realization before he is having the supramental realization. So ordinarily, if we stay under the truth of thought or truth of mind, it will be a difficult one for us in progressing in the spiritual path, of course achieving the spiritual and the supramental. The spiritual life is the flower not of a featureless but a conscious and diversified oneness. Conscious and diversified oneness. Truth is the foundation of real spirituality. Real spirituality, only truth, only truth, only truth. And the courage is its soul. Spiritual works. What is the how the working from within outwards? But the way of materialism, it is from out inwards. So here, from within outwards, it means that everything is turning from the spirit, the spark of the divine that is in us as the psychic being inside us. Against Europe in the courts, worship or puja, spoken in actually it counts, but thing is that the spirit, it must be deepest religious spirit, that puja must be done, that worship must be there, done. Prepare, it must prepare mind and heart to some extent, it must be there. But Sri Aurobindo quotes how the puja should be. It should be a part of the meditation. Second, true aspiration towards the spiritual reality. Third, spiritual consciousness. And fourth, yearning for the contact and the union with the divine. Then the spirituality will become effective. Sometimes we feel and guide. If there is a sincere aspiration, then naturally you will find a way and a guide. Against your in the course, mere mental seeking and questioning is not enough to open the doors of the spirit. So beyond mind, everything will be there. You have to cross the mind. Again, here in the course, politics, nothing to do with the spiritual life. If the spiritual man does everything for the country in order to do the will of, it must be done with the will of the divine and as a part of divinely appointed work and not from the ordinary human motive. That is what's here in the course. So overall, three types of life: ordinary life, religious life, and supramental, spiritual life. Here is the distinction, here is the clarification, here is the good explanation provided by Sri Aurobindo, and we must be able and to think and of course practice in our real life. Thank you. Vande Mataram.